Hey, what's up guys? What's going on you guys? Well, today we have a lot of things to talk about regarding to Real Madrid, although the most important it was last night with another defeat of FC Barcelona, who is very close to get eliminated as well and get to the Europe League. That would be a big failure considering FC Barcelona cannot afford at all to drop to the European League. It'd be really big deal for them, right? In terms of money, especially, right? Because if they are not able to qualify for the next round of the Champions, they will be losing a lot of money, right? A lot of money that UEFA pays for all the teams that qualify for the 16th round. If they are not able to do that and they have to play again in the European League, man, it's gonna be a big deal for FC Barcelona. But let's go ahead and let's review all the news we had yesterday regarding to Real Madrid, and some of them really important. Let me scroll down a little bit and go to the first one because it's very arguably the most important news that we heard last night. It was in El Chiringuito and it was from a person who typically never deliver any exclusive news or something like that. Why? It was Fernando Sanz, but he's a former Real Madrid player and is the son of one of the former Real Madrid president who passed away unfortunately 2 years ago. And Fernando Sanz unveiled something really interesting because he came up with this news just a couple hours later than Ramon Alvarez de Mon, when he said Erling Haaland has a release clause very in favor for Real Madrid or to play in Real Madrid in the future. Well, let me tell you something. Fernando Sanz confirmed this news and he claimed Haaland has a release clause in 2024 to go to Real Madrid. The reason for that is because that release clause, nobody knows anything about that. Nobody knows how is that release clause set or written or whatever you want to call it. But the people that know what the release clause is about or how it's been written or whatever it is, they are very sure it is, pointing towards Real Madrid, not any other team, right? In terms of price, in terms of specific name, Real Madrid or whatever it is, Ramon Alvarez de Mon and Fernando Sanz are confirming this release clause. It's going to be a big favor to Real Madrid, and apparently the player was the one to decide to set up that release clause just because he wanted to play for Real Madrid in a couple of years. And as you know, like Ramon Alvarez de Mon said, Manchester City, somebody from the board members apparently made a call to Florentino Perez and say, hey, this guy will play for us, will sign for us now, but in the future the door is completely open for Real Madrid. So that is very good news for us all, just because now we can confirm the player 90% chance will play for Real Madrid. And now I'm gonna jump onto the next news because it's really related to this one and it's about the price. Fernando Sanz confirmed, let me find the tweet. No, I don't have it here. It's okay. Fernando Sanz, when he was delivering this exclusive news about Haaland and all that, he said something else, right? And he said that right in the moment when Pedrerol was talking to him, and Pedrerol, he asked, he pretend not to know anything, right? He pretend he doesn't know anything, but it's not true. And Pedrerol asked to Fernando Sanz, okay, do we know anything about the price? And Fernando Sanz was going to respond, and he said, well, he prefers not to say anything about the price for now. And then Pedrerol said, you want me to say that? Because Pedrerol know exactly what Real Madrid will pay for Erling Haaland, right? But he pretends not to know anything, and he preferred to ask Fernando Sanz to unveil it. But what Fernando Sanz said, it was in the price. He didn't say, he didn't mention any number. But what he said is, it's gotta be lower than for any other team. And Pedrerol asked, okay, but is it expensive? Is it pricey? Is it affordable? And he said, it's high, but it's pretty affordable for Real Madrid. So what I'm assuming here is Real Madrid will pay anywhere between 150 and 200 million. That's my guess, okay? I might be wrong, but my guess is Real Madrid will probably pay anywhere between, like I said, 150, 200 million, something like that, okay? I don't think even we'll reach the 200 million. I don't know, that's what I am guessing right now, but I mean, anyways, Real Madrid can by far afford that price, and of course, I'm pretty sure if the release clause exists, Erling Haaland will play for Real Madrid for sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure of that. So let's see what happens. And now, let me move on and let's talk about the Casemiro's drama and the drama he's going through in Manchester, because nobody was expecting for him to be in this situation after to become one of the biggest signings of the summer. As you know, Casemiro was signed by 80 million euros, right, this summer from Real Madrid, and the reality is he's not playing at all. He's all the time on the bench, and some old legends from Manchester United are blasting to Erik ten Hag for keeping him on the bench instead of putting him on the field after receiving 6 goals from Manchester City, right? Other people, though, are claiming Casemiro is not ready to go and are questioning the way he trains in the practices, right? And then a big defender of Real Madrid, which is Rio Ferdinand, he said, shut up. I mean, he was doing a debate about Casemiro's situation and stuff like that, and he said, shut up, you're saying bullshit. I mean, that's bullshit, whatever you're saying, because Casemiro was the MVP of the game, of the final of the champions, the 5th champions of Real Madrid and his 5th champions. I mean, this guy is more than ready to go. He is here to help us out to go through and become better. But for any reason we don't know, Casemiro is not playing at all, and that is what makes me nuts. That is exactly what Rio Ferdinand said, and to me, man, he's pretty right. I mean, he nailed it, right? I don't understand how a team like Manchester United can pay about 80 million euros, 80 million euros, literally 80 million euros for the player, and not to put him on the field, man. It's so crazy, isn't it? I mean, how can you not use a player who has the biggest, the longest, the best experience for this kind of league, right? For the Premier League, when you have to face off teams like Chelsea, Manchester City, Tottenham, I mean, really big teams, right? Like Liverpool, and then you put him on the bench all the time, and you're down in the score 4-0, and you don't even use him. I mean, there's no point. Or when you use him, you only use him for, 10 minutes or something. Why are you spending 80 million euros in a player like that? I mean, I'm okay with that because the money's for us. Okay, the money was for Real Madrid, and that's great. But I don't know. I tried to put myself in the shoes of a Manchester United fan, and man, to me, this guy, it's like, I mean, I don't get it. I really don't get it. No, I don't know. So, and many people from Manchester United don't get it either. So we will have to wait and see if the situation changes a little bit. But in my opinion, that is not going to happen anytime soon. Okay. So now, more regarding to Real Madrid and Carlo Ancelotti in as far as the penalty taker. Let me tell you something. The other day, Benzema, when he failed during in the penalty against Osasuna, it was the 5th one out of 10 in the last season, right? And 3 of them against Osasuna. So it is not the first time. Real Madrid, on the other side, has been failing penalties. The other day, Hazard, he failed his penalty as well against Celta de Vigo, which is not great news, of course. And so for so many people out there, we should reconsider the option of Benzema as the first penalty taker. Well, let me tell you, Ancelotti decided not to change anything, and for him, Karim Benzema will continue being the first penalty taker for Real Madrid. Okay, so nothing is going to change. Nothing. Okay, I mean, it's a proof of trust I was going to say love, but it's a proof of trust by Carlo Ancelotti for Karim Benzema, and I'm okay with that. I mean, you cannot blast a player for failing a penalty, but let me tell you something. It is not the first one. It is not the first one. It is the fifth one, right? It is the fifth time Benzema has failed with the penalties, right? So, man, we have to be really careful with this, because sometimes the friendship is not good for anybody, okay? So I don't know what Carlo Ancelotti thinks about that, but my opinion is we should be extremely careful with this, because if he's failing, it is probably because he's a very good player in other skills, right? But not taking penalties. So we should start to think about other players shooting the penalties, right? I don't know what Carlo Ancelotti has in mind, man, but I'm not very convinced by the fact Karim Benzema continued to be in the penalty taker. So let's see what happens, and we will have to wait a little bit as usual. And I don't know, let's see.